What's annoying is I've got hardly any hair anywhere, but my legs are full of it. Full of hair.
Beard's coming on there.
Beard.
It's coming on.
It's getting better.
How long is that? It's coming on legs
Well, I'm
and back.
30 years old, so there you go.
Rollo's got a bit of a beard, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen him recently.
Not recently enough, but we'll rectify that.
He's been at that a while, that beard. Oh, so I've got a bad feeling about this podcast.
Oh, no.
Late.
It's late and tired, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, what am I going to do here?
I
The
look great.
hat backwards look...
No, it looks tragic.
Yeah.
It's like you've turned 34 and been
giving
like,
up, don't care.
I need to be younger.
Yeah, I do look a bit. I do look a bit like Kevin from Harry Enfield.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. This is episode 21, so if that's wrong, you can certainly blame the guy with the moped.
Oh, what a start.
He hasn't had a haircut. I mean, I shouldn't be laughing at incognito muggings
No.
because they're not funny, but I do find it very amusing that they've decided to leave your clothes. You've got a good-looking team, Dolan. I'd describe them all as housewives' favourites. Chester's got the body of an Adonis.
Can I believe it, man?
Good impression.
Yeah, not
well
bad.
done.
It got better as the impression
Yeah,
went
good
on.
that was.
Oh, hello, Marlon.
I said to Anne, should we leave this up on the fridge permanently? And she was like, no. But it's still there. Big Marlon's still on the fridge. Hello, welcome to the Villa View podcast with myself, Dan Bardell and Tom Julian in a tight-fitting shirt.
Yeah.
To my right.
I love this shirt, but I bought a small and starting to regret it in my more formative years.
Yeah. I've got to say, the shirt I've put on tonight, I just grabbed what was at the top of one of the drawers, my shirt drawer. And I got to admit, it's not a nice shirt. I thought this was like quite a lot of people liked this shirt at the time, but I'm looking at myself on the camera now and thinking, I mean, admittedly, I'm getting older, but I look horrific in it.
I think you're slouching a bit. You got the hat on.
Yeah, it's all gone wrong.
You know, and I think this shirt is going to come back in like 10, 15 years. People are going to be, oh, I want that shirt because it's
Cult.
a bit of a cult shirt. Yeah, but right now you're maybe not in that sweet spot.
No, it's not a good one. But I said to you on the way in that actually it's a good omen because we wore this shirt the last time we beat Arsenal. So if we go on to win on Sunday, let's put it down to this.
Happy days.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that'd be magical. We should say before we start, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Dan, you've had the day off. What did you do with your day?
I got taken to a spa,
Right.
which feels a little bit like it was a birthday present for the wife.
Yeah.
I feel like she's thought, I've took a day's holiday for his birthday. What would I like to do
You've
today?
been conned there.
I'll go to spa. But I've got to say, actually, I did enjoy it. I had a nice relaxation.
Imagine the scenes. Angie's birthday, and you go, hello, darling, here's 2 tickets to the Villa. How does that go down?
I mean, I've done Villa games on Valentine's Day and wedding anniversaries and stuff like that. I mean, she hasn't come with me, but I have done that. So in some respects, you've got to respect her for what she's done today.
Fair play. She's earned it.
But it was decent.
Yeah.
Well, it was decent. I've had a facial, something I've never had done before.
I was in Hong Kong in May with the Hong Kong Villains, and the day after the Villa West Brom first leg, I played football with my mate. We did a 5-a-side tournament, and then we went for a foot massage.
Oh no, I'm not for that.
It was unreal.
I don't like my feet being touched, really.
We got out the night before, obviously after the game and stuff, and was fairly hungover, and I fell asleep.
Really?
Like, that's how relaxed I was.
Every
it was
time
glorious.
my foot got prodded, I'd wake up if I fell asleep.
It was so comfortable. Everything about it was just so happy.
Can you tell we're delaying talking about the game?
Yeah.
Love
To delay it even further, I bought you I haven't bought you a birthday cake. I bought you a birthday cookie.
I've got to say, right, get them up on camera because those cookies look like they're about 10 days old. They've just been shoved in the trampiest plastic bag I think I've ever seen.
I had to leave a couple for Hannah, so I found the first plastic bag. This might have had frozen breast milk in it. I'm not going to lie to you.
It feels a little bit like you've walked past a homeless person and you've seen the cookies and you said, I'll give you a tenner for those cookies.
I found you the closest thing I could to claret and blue candles.
Pink and blue.
Well, yeah, but you can't...
Red and blue?
No,
Would that not have been closer than pink and blue?
I couldn't get them, all right? Right, so here we go.
Don't light it because there's a smoke alarm right up there and that will guarantee go off.
That's a sprinkler. Can you imagine?
Don't put that on.
That'll be hilarious.
Don't do it. No. Don't do it because it's already 20 to 9.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't want to have to go
Can you
do a
imagine?
fire drill.
We get banned from the booth. Would you like to try a bit of the cookie?
No, thanks. I'm okay at the moment. I'm really full, mate. I'm full of cake and everything.
So this is what I do.
It's a lovely gesture. It is a lovely gesture. I can say you've spent a lot of money and put a lot of thought into it. But
£1.5 for 5 cookies.
I mean, the way I've just watched you peel that off, it literally looks about 10 days old, like it's mouldy.
It tastes great. So
let's talk about Villa.
Yeah, let's talk about Villa. Villa 0.
7 minutes. Oh no, we had a chat before we went on. To be fair,
Villa 0, West Ham 0. Not the greatest night under the lights of Villa Park.
No, and My opinion, I only did a couple of tweets last night because it took me so long to get back. Road closures all over the place, which is my own fault for living in London. You know, I can't blame anyone for that but myself.
Yeah.
It's just, I found that the whole evening frustrating, I would say. I did a couple of tweets and I would say that my opinions didn't seem to be the popular opinions, which I was surprised at, because I'm quite positive. I'm usually very, very positive. People always say to me, oh, you can say bad things, you know.
Yeah.
You don't have to always be positive. And last night I felt a bit down about it, but everyone's saying to me I need a bit of a reality check was the message I was receiving back.
Well, let's get into it, because I think there's, again, with social media, we talked about it a bit before, there's kind of the dour, down people who always see the negative stuff, and then there's a resilient, optimistic group.
And I'm part of that second group, usually.
And I think it's okay to be in the middle sometimes. You can bounce between, oh, that wasn't actually that great, but we can still do better. And like, I looked at the table today. We've got 4 points. We're only 4 points off third.
It's very early days.
You know, but that doesn't mean that our performances haven't been that great. And if you look at the teams that we've played so far, you know, we should be slightly concerned, I think, with some of the performances that have come out of those games.
I'm going to just read my tweets. Should we do? Because obviously not everyone will have Twitter. So I'm just going to read my 2 tweets.
Go on,
and
then,
you can say whether you agree with them, and we'll discuss them from that. I know that goes against the notes, which is not.
It's fine, it's your birthday.
Yeah, that's true. So first one, I just put, this is a general point. I pulled a tweet up there that's the least insightful tweet you're ever going to see in your life, but I'm as positive as they come. But that was really disappointing.
Yeah,
and
I'd agree.
A few people were saying that I need a reality check and things like that. Second tweet. Oh God!
Have you used Twitter before?
No, it doesn't look like it. I'm 34 now, so I'm not sure what I'm doing.
How does this work?
Yeah. So I've said there, I've given Smith a lot of love. I will continue to. I love the bloke. However, use of subs tonight was pretty poor, in my opinion. Confusing.
Yeah, I saw that tweet this morning because I took a night off Twitter last night. But I totally...
You took a night off Twitter, but you saw the tweets last night?
No, I said this morning.
Oh, sorry, I apologise.
I saw that, and I agreed with you, because, like, it was weird. Obviously, Al Mohammadi is the one that gets the sending off in the end. But
Al Mohammadi's the one I've got the least problem with, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah,
that's interesting. And then you do a like-for-like in defensive midfield as well. And it just doesn't seem... When you're 0-0 and you've got the extra man, you know, that's when you bring on, and I mean, we're going to talk about Conor Hourihane again, and I know some people are going to switch off now, but that's when you bring on Conor, and we seem to be missing somebody that can put the ball in the box and hit Wesley. And again, we're going to come on to Wesley a lot more, I feel, but why weren't we looking to go forward rather than kind of, it seemed like we were just doing like for like and a bit contained.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching him warm up. I think Conor needs to do something different with his warm up while he's looking to come on. He needs to catch Smith's eye a bit more, run past him. To be fair, fan cams. I've done fan cams before, and Conor can get mixed reviews. Nearly everyone that came on fan cams last night was like, I don't understand why he didn't come on.
And I saw that a lot more on Twitter as well, independently of the Villa View, which is often we get pulverised for being too much in the Hourihane camp.
Even
a lot
Lansbury.
of people saying...
I think even Lansbury's got a right to be frustrated. Because what I can't understand is, the game before, so we're 0-0 against Crystal Palace. Tight game. One you ideally obviously want to try and win a team that will probably be around us. And the game's 0-0, finally set. Hourihane comes on for Douglas Luiz. Annoyingly, 2 minutes later we concede, so we're 1-0 down.
Yeah.
We've got 10 men. And that's the thing, he's brought Conor on them when we've got 10 men.
Yep.
Lansbury's ended up coming on that game as well, and they both looked decent, and we scored a perfectly good goal that got disallowed.
Yep.
Everyone knows that, fine. Why then, when we're up against 10 men at Villa Park in a game, I would think at that point, 65 minutes, yeah, we need to be winning this. This is a good chance to get a win. Why are they both sat down coming on?
I mean, I agree with you. It seemed to be a confusing mix, and I think we've had this conversation. If Steve Bruce did that,
very Bruce-like, the subs,
brings on El Mohammadi for Hotter, and it feels quite negative, then he gets absolutely destroyed. And I'm not comparing the two managers. That's just a single snapshot. But you know, you've got to be fair and say, I don't think the substitutes worked last night, and that's not criticising Smith and everything he's done. It's just saying in that instant, it didn't seem like the right thing. I think Smith would probably say that himself.
I mean, the Hotter sub's a bit frustrating because it's 0-0. He takes him off 2 minutes later.
Yeah, I was gonna
they
say
get
that.
a red card, and you'd think
Do it
he'd be
often.
a good one to be on.
Yeah.
With against 10 men, he'd perhaps be someone that could unlock.
Yeah.
Unlock the West Ham defence. So that's annoying. I can forgive that, because also I will say during the game I was getting a bit frustrated with Hotter, because I was thinking he's just not tracking back. He's a bit lightweight here. He's going to cause us problems. Gilbert likes to go.
Yeah.
And when Gilbert was gone, Hotter wasn't quick in coming back, and a few times, especially in the first half, they were bombing down that left side. Not Felipe Anderson was probably, I'd say he was the best player on the pitch last night.
Created a lot of chances.
I'd say Felipe Anderson looked the liveliest out of all the attacking players
Yeah.
on show. So I can see why he brought Elmo on. Frightening that we've got one wing. Well, I suppose we've got Trezeguet and Codger out.
Yep.
That just caused 2 players, and that causes disarray in terms of we're down to the bare bones on the bench. The only people not on the bench last night that were fit were defenders, really. Mm-hmm. So that's concerning, because that just shows that we are light.
Yeah, it kind of feels again a bit like last year when we were so defensively light. Now we're forward options light, and that's not ideal either. And we talked about it off air. You know, we tried to get a striker in.
Yeah.
Okay, but if we end up not scoring enough goals and that becomes a major problem, then is that good enough? Is that an excuse? Oh, we tried. You know, you're a football club. Get your business done, and Aston Villa had to do a lot of business, but it's all right to be critical of the fact that we don't have a striker. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I'm not for 1 minute saying Scott Hogan is the answer to Villa's problems in the Premier League.
Sure.
But we were obviously that confident that we were going to get another striker in, that we carted Hogan off on loan.
Mm-hmm.
With all the other transfers, it felt like we'd wait till we got business done before we let anyone go.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying he's the answer, but we are bringing Keenan Davis on with 5-10 minutes left. The guy scored 1 league goal in his career, and I like Keenan Davis. I think he's a good player.
Me too.
But is he going to come on and get you a goal?
And does
Probably
he
not.
He offers the same thing, a similar thing, I think, to what Wesley does. So it's not like you're changing it up and going for a completely different tactic. You're just doing the same thing, all with two of them. You know, it's tricky. I've read a lot of things about Wesley and whether he is just never going to make it, or whether
Can't
he's
say that
exactly, or whether he's just not getting the service. He's still adapting to the pace of the game, to the style of the league. There's so many things.
And I agree with all that stuff.
All of that is, and I think all of that is important. Again, having said that, this is a points-driven business, right? So you need to be able to either pick it up quickly or have an alternative while Wesley gets used to it. And that seems to be Villa's problem at the moment.
What I will say for Wesley is he's not getting a hell of a lot of service.
Yeah.
Many times the ball swung into the box and he's the only man there.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he's the only one that's likely to score a header, you need other bodies in there to cause confusion and maybe give him a bit of space to score. Sure. I thought the chance he had in the first half, people have said he should be hitting the target, should score there. I think that's a difficult chance.
I completely disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
There's so much power on that cross.
There is, but
so much power.
All he has to do is direct it goalwards. The goalkeeper's gone. Fabianski's gone. Wesley has to be scoring that for me.
I think it's a tough job. Okay, it was interesting. We don't often disagree.
No, we don't.
I think that's a tough chance.
He's a Premier League striker, whether he is at the top level or not. But I would expect my big, strong centre forward to be able to put that on target. And I know it's a fast-paced cross, but that's a massive miss for me.
For all I'm saying here as well, he's not getting much service. I will also say I think he could be doing a bit more. Everton, he made that lovely run, getting in behind. He's not doing enough of that off the ball for me.
Yeah, and I mean, his touch doesn't seem to be quite as good as it was maybe earlier on in this. Everton, he looked really sharp, and yesterday he just looked a little bit sluggish, like the ball kind of hit him and it bounced off a little bit. It just didn't look as smooth.
Threw himself to the floor a couple of times as well, which I don't really like.
Which he did earlier on in the season as well.
That's frustration, though, I think.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because he's a foreign guy in a new town, in a new team. The players around him are getting used to him as well in terms of the service provided.
And this is where I think we've got a problem, but carry on.
Well, that's it, really. That is the problem, that they don't know each other yet, and how long that takes to blend is going to be defining of our season.
Because you look at Norwich, and at the moment you've got to make them the barometer. Is that the right word? You've got to make them the barometer of success. So
frustrating.
They have got their player that scored 25 odd goals last season still there, and he's just picked up where he left off. He's banging goals in the Premier League. Pukki. He's scored all but one, I think. So
yeah,
far.
and he assists as well.
And he looks good.
Yeah.
Our striker that scored 26, 27 goals or whatever it was last season, Tammy Abrahams, banging him in for Chelsea.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. It's the continuity. I think we've done well to replace Twanzebe. I thought Engels was our best player last night, so
Yeah.
I think with the player we don't miss Twanzebe. I wouldn't say because Engels is coming in. He looks a bit of class.
Agree.
To be fair, but we miss Tammy's natural goal scoring instinct. He just would find a goal, wouldn't he? Because he put himself in the right areas. And we speculated before we had Wesley that that's not really what he's about. He's about bringing other people into play.
Yeah.
But is he doing that? Is he bringing other people into play at the moment?
Not yet, for sure.
And that's not all down to him. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm very reluctant to sit here and be negative about someone who's played 5 games for the football club.
Yeah.
Because again, that's not really what I'm about. But I would like to see a bit more from him.
Going back to the Tammy thing, I saw on Twitter at the weekend just everybody obviously praising Tammy as he completely deserves and all this. But I was just thinking, all these big accounts that had written him off after the first couple of games.
I didn't think he'd be going to
season.
Chelsea and scoring goals. I've got to be honest.
But there was the die was already cast 2 games into the season. Where it was oh, Tammy, you'll never make it. He's a bit. And Jamie Carragher actually came out and said, didn't he, this weekend? I got it wrong on Tammy Abraham. I thought that he'd be a bit part player and Giroud should play, and Frank Lampard knows more than me. So fair play to Carragher for stepping up, admitting that he got it wrong. But
he's a fair guy, Carragher. He's a fair guy.
You're right. I think there should have been question marks around Abraham, but to have him back in at the Villa where the players know him and he knows how to put the ball in the back of the net. I don't know what we'd be doing this season, but
Chelsea transfer ban and Lampard going there. That's bad news for Villa.
Well, I think that's the reason that Lampard went there, wasn't they? They knew they had a transfer ban,
perhaps.
and he obviously knew Mason Mount very well and he must have pitched the fact that he could work the academy into the team, and they've scored so many goals for their academy.
But the centre-back's whacking them in from 30
yards,
ridiculous. Which he's never done in his life.
And on your other point with Pukki, he's just been a phenomenon. And I did a bit of reading on Pukki a couple of weeks ago. They did an amazing job, Norwich, with him, but he hadn't scored many goals in previous leagues.
Mad.
And Daniel Farke's just got the absolute best out of him, and they had 9 players missing at the weekend, Norwich. And you looked at their team, and it was ridiculous. There was 3 or 4 academy players.
They had an academy defensive midfielder playing at centre back.
Yeah, one of my mates was telling me that one of their academy boys was England under-21's captain on his debut.
Cantwell,
yeah.
He's a good player.
Yeah,
he looks lively. He looks busy.
And again, did it against Chelsea. So, I mean, this isn't the Norwich podcast or the Chelsea podcast, but yeah, we are missing a striker, and we're missing an alternative, and
that's
frustrating.
the problem.
Yeah.
No qualms with the signing, Wesley. No quarrels with that at all. It looks a good signing, and I've got confidence that he will be a good player for us. But the problem is we need him to be a good player now. And that isn't how it works.
Yeah.
You very rarely come in and just hit the ground running as a player in a new country, all the stuff that you reeled off before. It's very difficult to just come and do that. Probably better strikers than Wesley have taken time to settle. I think remember when Bergkamp came into Arsenal, one of the best players ever, one of my favourite ever footballers, Bergkamp. But he didn't hit the ground running. I'm pretty sure Henry didn't hit the ground running at Arsenal either. Like, it takes time to bed in and for things to happen, but that lack of an alternative, that's a problem. Because Keenan Davis, I like Keenan Davis, but he's the kind of player, because actually Carragher, I'm completely derailing what I was about to say. I watched the game back today.
Yeah.
Neville and Carragher were talking about strikers that, even though they're not natural goal scorers, and I think they were bracketing Wesley in that, do they make the players around them better? So do Grealish and McGinn get joy off them?
Right.
When we were in the Championship, the midfield were getting joy off Keenan Davis. He wasn't scoring goals, but it wasn't a problem because Adoma was scoring, Connor was scoring. I think Onema might have got a couple at the time, Snodgrass. Yeah. So there was people around him.
Onema, that feels like ages ago.
There were people around him in the midfield that were getting joy off the way he plays.
Yeah.
Wesley scored 1 in 5. Again, not knocking him, but 1 in 5. But how much are the other players getting joy off his game, really? I don't think they are at the moment.
I think that's a fair point. The goals have to come from somewhere, and it kind of comes back to Conor Hourihane, who's been one of our most, whether you like him or not, he's been one of our most consistent assists and goal providers.
If he's not getting on the pitch last night, I would worry for him.
You've immediately taken out a goal threat there, because again, if he does nothing else, then he's dangerous from set pieces. If he does nothing else, which I don't agree with, but if that's your opinion, we need to be scoring from set pieces. Lots of teams that are promoted their bulk of goals come from set plays.
Well, how many goals did Tammy score off kind of deliveries from set pieces last season? I'd wager it was double figures.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
It's a concern. You know what's really... And this is the biggest concern I've got at the moment. Every game I've always thought, who looked the most likely to score in that game for us? And every game I've come away thinking John McGinn. But John McGinn's a 5 to 6 goal a season man, I would suggest. He's never going to be someone who hits double figures, is he?
A lot of pot shots last night, wasn't it?
I'd say that in itself, that I've thought that after every game, and I love John McGinn, and all the Villa fans love John McGinn, he's a fantastic player, but that he looks our biggest goal threat in every game, I think that's a problem.
Our pre-season predictions, I'm pretty sure Dolan went for John McGinn to be top goal scorer.
Yeah, we'll come on to Dolan.
We'll have
Dolan
to.
segment.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I've put here in the notes 13 minutes, best of the chances came to Wesley, who heads Grealish's excellent cross wide, has to score there. And that's, I mean, I have watched it back as well, and
maybe I need to watch it again.
Nothing changed in my opinion. Just judging a Premier League striker, I think that has to go in. West Ham had a few half chances there, and nothing that properly tested Heaton. There was a point where Haller beat
I don't remember Heaton making a save in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
They
only had... Fabianski had to do a couple of things. But
he made one good save.
West Ham only had one shot on target all game. Haller beats Mings to a cross, again heads wide. So I didn't feel particularly threatened by West Ham. They had quite a lot of build-up play, but again they weren't getting it on target against Heaton.
I felt if they were going to get a goal in the first half, it was going to come from us switching off. Because they had that, I can't remember exactly what happened, but Neil Taylor had a great block in the first half, and we managed to survive. He was in the passage of play where Noble dived. I think he dived anyway. Yeah. He was in that passage of play. And Neil Taylor made a great block. That was the only time I felt really threatened. The Haller header, I think Heaton always looked like that was going wide.
Yeah,
he looked closer during the game than he did when I watched it back.
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, we had a few blocks. I think I've got them in the notes. I think Mings chucks himself at one, Grealish chucks himself at one.
Was a big one.
I thought he might hurt himself doing that, but I mean, obviously he didn't, so that was good. Masaku booked for a bit of a tussle with Gulbert.
Fair is a bad tackle, that was.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought that was a fair booking, and then Grealish was booked as well. Which, you know, Mike Dean is a very good referee, like him or not, but that was Grealish's first foul. I think. I thought he was quite quick to book him.
Noble got away with 2 as well, and one of them I'd say was of a similar ilk to the Grealish one. Yeah. I mean, 30 seconds later he booked Noble. Yeah. I think he realised I have to book Mark Noble here because it was his third one, but it was a nothing. It was a little shirt pull or something.
Yeah,
I can't remember. We do seem to get short shrift from the referees.
I don't know. I think we'll come on to that. Well, we'll come on to it right now because
in terms of our players make one tackle, yellow card, Billing, Noble now. Yeah, it's 2 home games where I've thought, how is it that they're not getting booked earlier?
Yeah.
And arguably both those players I've just mentioned could have been sent off.
I want to talk about another player that could have gone potentially, Anwar El Ghazi. Now we'll talk. So if you haven't seen the game
impressed
yet,
if he was getting sent off for that, both in terms of from him and from the VAR.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so Mings basically goes nuts at El Ghazi for not tracking back. El Ghazi gives a little bit back, and they kind of get into it a little bit.
Did he not track back?
No, I think he loses his man, and the guy, I can't remember who it is, puts in the cross or whatever, which Mings blocks. But then, so Mings and El Ghazi are going at it, and El Ghazi gets in Mings' face, puts his head to his...
It's not a good look.
It's a really bad look. Now, a lot of people are saying it's absolutely fine, it's a bit good to have a bit of fire, and I agree with that, but when you go to headbutt somebody, it's slightly different. If you're shouting at somebody, trying to get them fired up and you're all getting together, I'm okay with that. I don't mind. Putting your head on somebody is fairly intentional. And all right,
he didn't make a movement. He put his head there, but he didn't put his head there and then butt him. But if his head was there, he shouldn't be.
If you're 2 opposition players and you do that, you're in trouble, or you could be. I
would say that was 2 opposition players, and I heard Dermot Gallagher on the way home. They got a good segment on Talksport, good name for it. They get Dermot Gallagher on the phone. It's called Dermot O'Queera. It's a good little segment asking him refereeing questions. I thought it was quite
it's not the right Dermot though.
No, but I thought he was quite clever. I quite enjoyed it. He was saying if that had been 2 opposition players, they wouldn't have got a red card for that because there was no movement.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the comparison, or the loose comparisons to the Dyer Bowyer thing, and it's nothing like that. But having said that,
comparing us to Anton Dick,
well.
No, we're nowhere near their broadcast level.
They're
so far away. Those 2 incidents are so far away from each other.
I agree with that. But you know, when you talk about the luck of the referees, and everyone talks about how Mike Dean wants to be the star of the show.
We're more like Dick and Dom, aren't we? I would say
they've really fallen off a cliff, haven't they? Those two. So that seems about right. What was I saying?
Sorry.
Mike Dean wants to be the star of the show. That's what I'm saying.
So do I with that.
you give him a decision to make, but they sent it to VAR, which I was a little bit surprised about.
I was a little bit concerned when it went to VAR.
Yeah,
I've got to be
exactly.
honest. I've got a point about Villa here. Aren't they supposed to have on the screen?
It's nice to have a point about Villa.
That it says that there's VAR is being looked at. Villa have not got that.
Really?
They're just the badge, Villa badge just comes
Yeah,
up.
just
I'm
spins
sure there's
around.
supposed to be a VAR thing that comes up. And they definitely had it at Spurs.
Right.
Definitely had it at Spurs. Palace, have they even got a video screen? I couldn't even tell
must
you.
have.
I mean, to be fair, we don't look at VAR at Selhurst Park anyway, as we know.
Yeah, that's true. So get you started again.
There's no checks. But
So anyway, I
Where is
don't think it was a sending off.
No.
Just to be sure. But we talk about the luck of the referees. I think it could have gone badly for us potentially.
But that would have been a shocking decision.
Yeah.
Off the back of the last game as well, would have been very hard done by.
Yeah, I agree.
What I will say is, I imagine internally he's going to get a little fine, not a big fine.
Well, they've said that they won't do anything, so I think you have to declare that. I think they'd have to say.
I'd be surprised if he didn't get something for that.
They said that they sorted out at half time, and
Yeah, that's all and good.
Smith said after the game, we're not going to speak about that again. Villa have already said there'll be
Okay.
no punishment, and the Premier League have too.
Oh yeah, the Premier League can't do anything,
Well, they could look at it again, I think.
can they?
I think
Should
because
they?
if Dean misses it, I guess I'm not really sure because VAR have looked at it again. Anyway,
I mean, the football authorities are already fining Birmingham City. Fucking six months, I swore then. six months after the incident happened, and it's pathetic.
we will talk about that in a minute. Anyway, Jack Grealish says it's all done. Bit of handbags. They sorted out.
Grealish did a good interview after the game. Actually,
Yeah, he
really
did.
good interview.
And I like that fire. Again, I've seen a few people say that's good. It's good to have some. Everyone wants to win for the badge. That's all good. I think El Ghazi took it a step too far, and I hope he apologised to Mings. I think that's if he's apologised, then I think that it's fine.
Just saying, I don't think Tyrone did anything wrong
Oh no,
in that.
he's a leader. He's telling them to get back and sort himself out.
Surprised El Ghazi reacted so badly to that, because Mings must give everyone a rollicking.
I felt like El Ghazi had a bad night last night. Generally, things kind of went wrong for him, and there was a point where he kind of dangled his leg with Noble. Not long after that, as well. When,
My Noble has to throw himself down.
everything could have gone slightly wrong for El Ghazi. He didn't cover himself in glory.
no options.
Well, yeah, if he gets sent off, then we
No, but we've got
definitely
got no options anyway.
Yeah, it's true. That's it. He got clattered by Fabianski as well, didn't he? Fabianski came flying out, and fair challenge, but gave El Ghazi a good
The
whack.
thing is with El Ghazi, even if he's not having a good game, I always feel like something might come from him.
I've always had
He
a
might
soft
just go on a
spot.
big run.
I've always had a soft spot for him since the West Brom game last year. I think it was like West Brom early on in the season. Yeah.
The Hawthorns, he scored 2.
Yeah. But last night was a bit of a dampener on
He
that.
has games like that. That's how he was. That's how he was in the Championship.
I don't mean his performance. I mean the thing with Mings.
No, it's not great. It's not a good look at all. It's not something I want to see our players doing. But I've got a major issue with it.
No.
I don't like it. But I've not got. I think I'd never ever in this lifetime would say he should be the referee. We're lucky we've got away with that, because I don't think it was anything worth sending off or a booking.
No, has he said anything on social media? I wouldn't mind it if he came out and gone, in the heat of the moment, I made a mistake.
He's not a big one on social media.
He does a few tweets,
Does he?
though, doesn't he? Like, if he went, I made a mistake, I'm really sorry, at Tyrone Mings.
I met El Ghazi a few weeks ago, didn't I, at Selhurst Park? It was one of those ones. I'd had a few beers and I was walked up to him and I was obviously going to have a chat with him. And I thought, just say something a bit more inventive than thank you for your goal in the playoff final. And I walked straight up and went, thanks for your goal in the playoff final.
Did you do that as well?
I probably.
Hey.
I probably did.
For audio listeners, Dan
I'm pretty sure.
snapped him a little finger.
I'm pretty sure he didn't have a clue what I was going on about.
Seems
with the
fair.
accent.
McGinn has a snapshot at the edge of the box at just before half time. Nicks off Wesley. Fabianski, decent save. That would have been a nice goal
Okay,
just
for
before half
Fabianski.
time. Yeah, he's done well, hasn't he?
Yeah. I saw a kid in full Fabianski kit.
Really?
When I got to the ground, yeah.
You don't
Full
often see that.
Shorts. I'm pretty sure he might have had gloves on as well.
No.
9 or 10, full green Fabianski gear.
I mean, you can't knock that, but you've got to knock the parents a little bit.
Lovely stuff. I was with Steve last night. Steve said he reckoned he had padding on as well. Thought he might get a game.
I feel like that's something you might have done, because you're a bit goalkeeper back in the
I
day.
probably did in that Asics like luminous weird kit.
You can still do it now.
I probably I wore it to the play. I wore it to the playoff semi. Didn't know that goalie top. Yeah.
There you go. Half
play to the
time.
kid.
Yeah. Half time. I think West Ham come out a little bit the stronger early second half. Couple of chances.
Yeah, first 10-15 definitely.
Declan Rice has a chance. That's the one that was blocked by Grealish. And again, McGinn makes a chance for El Ghazi. Again, Fabianski equal to it. We didn't really. I don't feel like we tested Fabianski too much. There was a couple of snapshots, but
Neither
nothing.
keeper was busy.
Yeah. I felt like Fabianski had more to do, but they were fairly routine.
It was a bit of a drab match. It wasn't an ideal time for us to be showcasing our talents on Monday Night Football to a global audience.
It was a weird one, I thought, because it was quite a fiery game. Like there was a few bookings. Wesley and not Wesley, Mings and Haller had a good battle. It was quite a physical game, but there wasn't really any quality spark, was there?
No, I thought Engels was our bit of quality, and that's from centre back, which probably isn't a great sign, is it?
No.
I would like some of his distribution and the way he was bringing the ball out, and he almost like doesn't get his shorts dirty. Engels, he just picks the ball up, stays on his feet, just picks the ball up. He's in the right place. He's a very savvy addition.
Those two have been brilliant signings. I think I read on Premier League's Twitter that they are the best signings in the Premier League this year per million that they cost, or something like that.
It's both of them are worth a hell of a lot more than we paid for them initially.
Yeah.
Even though we paid big money for Mings, he's worth more than we paid. He's gone up in value.
Yeah.
And it's a good job because we don't know like we're going to score many goals, so clean sheets are going to be important.
Absolutely. So about 65, 70 minutes, Masuaku gets sent off. El Mohammadi's just come on and I mean, he goes to ground fairly easily, I would say. I would say it's a foul, but does he deserve to get sent off, or is that a last warning?
I would say that's harsh.
Yeah.
I would say no, it's not a second yellow offence, but then I will also say, and we've not really covered it fully, that Mark Noble should have been sent off.
Yeah.
So, I look back at it and think, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. El Mohammadi does a nice job and gives Mike Dean a decision to make. Dean,
he knows what he's doing, Al Mohammadi, there.
100%.
Let's face it, Masuaku's not the brightest of footballers.
Yeah, I agree.
He's fell for it.
I agree. I can't remember.
He's given the ref a decision to make on a yellow card.
Jacob Steinberg, who writes for The Guardian, a big West Ham fan, was like, I don't rate Masuaku at all, but that was harsh.
They've got problems at fullback. The Guardian. The Guardian. I don't know. We got problems with your jokes. But the West Ham fan, I went on a football social daily or something. I went on Monday.
Good plug.
Yeah, I can't remember what they're called. And there was a West Ham fan on there, and he was saying we got problems at fullbacks. Masuaku and Cresswell aren't up to much. Mm-hmm. Zabaleta's getting on a bit, and Fredericks he's not sure on yet. So I said, well, that's all well and good, but I think we've got problems out wide.
Yeah.
So we couldn't take advantage. I mean, Zabaleta came in at left back, and I thought, right, he's older than me. I'm probably quicker than Pablo Zabaleta.
Oh, I doubt it.
Let's get him. We just didn't.
No.
We just didn't. He's playing out of position.
Yeah.
And we just didn't get at him once.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's the most frustrating thing about the whole evening is that once they go down to 10 men, we've got 20, 25 minutes to have a go. And we don't really until the last couple of minutes.
Thing.
You know, we have a couple of chances right at the end, but most of the time we look more defensive than they did.
I felt like they were going to get us on the break. And again, this was something else I couldn't understand. When we were coming forward, I felt like we didn't have enough bodies forward. Yet every time on the turnover, they said to catch us on the break, and we had no one back. Where was everyone?
It was a couple of questions in the Twitter comments were, why don't we leave anyone up at corners? Why don't we're not working to even be a good counter-attacking team? It's a bit odd.
I mean, obviously my dad's in bed rest at the moment, not coming to Villa Park. He's not actually on bed rest.
I was going to say.
Yeah, he can't come to Villa Park
He's
anyway.
still struggling.
Yeah, so he wasn't there last night. So I went with Steve, my mate, who played for West Brom until he was 17, 18, before being let go for being too small. Now he's the same size as me.
Gutting.
Anyway, that's beside the point.
Now he doesn't play football. It's a waste.
I know it is a waste. He's got higher standards than me when it comes to watching football. And over the years, when he fills in for my dad and comes to the Villa with me, I'll have accepted a lot of mediocrity over the years, and he's always saying that this should be better, this should be better. And last night I was finding myself agreeing with what he was saying. We didn't go for it. It was really disappointing.
Yep, I 100% agree, and that's where I was most frustrated by the end of the evening, because I was like, right, we've got a chance to nick this. It hasn't been a great game. We just didn't try. It just felt like it was a bit flat once they got a man sent off.
He said he couldn't work out what Villa's identity was. He couldn't work out what the game plan was with Wesley. Are we trying to get him in behind? Are we trying to go a bit direct at times and use his strength and his power? Really, we didn't do either.
I think that's quite an astute point, isn't it? Like your identity.
I hope he doesn't listen because he'll enjoy that.
You can see the Norwich identity, for example. You can see obviously like a Man City identity or whatever.
I know what Smith wants to do. He wants to play attractive, fast football. Maybe he wants to play a little bit on the break, and we're not getting a chance to do that at the moment. But then I'd suggest, is there the pace in that side to play on the break?
Totally, again, agree. And Trezeguet is the one that has real raw pace.
Gilbert's quick.
Yeah,
from right back though.
But from right back, exactly. You know, it's tricky, and if Smith doesn't have the players for that identity, then maybe he needs to look at a different identity. You've got to make it work with what you've got, and you know, round pegs, square holes, or whatever the phrase is. You can't force something that you don't have the player. you can't force something that if you don't have the players for it. So. Kind of Smith will have definitely looked at that over the international break and kind of gone, where are we going here? What are we doing? And at the moment, it's not quite fitting. I think it's going to be a fairly tough game against Arsenal.
Oh yeah, big time. I was saying last night, if any team's going to give you a goal by doing something stupid, it's Arsenal.
That's true.
But then, are we capable of accepting gifts?
So again, at the end, I feel like Grealish has a great chance to. He's had a quiet night, if not a relatively poor night by his standards, I would say.
I will say every time we think Grealish has been quiet, you look at the stats and he's done more than anyone else to create chances and things like that. So I think he gets held to a lot higher standard than everyone else.
As he should, I think, and he will hold himself to account. Also, it should be said, like the most passes and all that kind of stuff, but there were a lot of waylaid passes.
He said himself, him included, that we were too wasteful on the ball. He said himself after the game, our best spells in the game came when he's driving from deep. He seems to be starting from a lot deeper this season. I can't get we're in a different league. McGinn seems to be the one that's told to get forward, and Grealish is starting a lot from deep, which I've got no problem with. There's just times I'd like him to, when he released the ball, run. He'll release it and he'll hold his position, and that's not Jack Grealish.
Did you think he should have done better with the chance that he had at the end? Or
he said himself he should have done better with it. He kind of
got caught. I was asking
he got
you.
caught in two minds of what to do. My initial reaction at the game was, why didn't he go and try and head it? He looked tired though.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
he could barely run by the end of it. And that's another thing. Someone said in fan cams, like, Grealish and McGinn are our best players, but if they're tired, you can sub them.
Yeah.
And they both look knackered.
Yeah, I agree. I found it interesting. Quite funny that Jazz last week got mixed up with St Lucia and Saint Tropez. I felt like that was a Tom Julian thing to do.
I mean, it's that seat.
It was nice. Yeah, that's it. Let's blame the seat. Yeah. Very good. Frustrating. If we could have nicked that, it would have kind of. I guess it would have papered over the cracks a little bit. But to have 6 points instead of 4 would have been very nice at the end of this season.
Their games you look back on and you say, we played against 10 men for 25 minutes there. Did we do it? Did we do enough? Should we be doing more to try and win that? And that's the thing. If we have a go and it stays 0-0, fair enough. Okay, we've tried. I just didn't feel like the instructions were, let's go for this now. Let's make sure we get 3 points at Villa Park here.
We've played Bournemouth, played Palace, we played West Ham. We haven't picked up enough points.
Yeah, and you're not going to win it. You're not going to win all. As much as you say they're games that are winnable, you're not going to win them all. Probably, in all probability.
Yeah, but it'd be nice to win one.
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Nice little mention for Robert Snodgrass at the end of the game, who got
love to see him.
Who got great applause from the Villa faithful. Obviously didn't get on and caused us
grief. Him back.
Yeah,
in all honesty.
One thing. What about Marvellous Nakamba? What did you think of his debut?
Mixed. Fine. I think he looks a good player. He looks the kind of footballer that I personally like. The way he plays the game.
Yeah.
He did a few bad passes. He gave the ball away a few times, but he also did some nice things. It's his first game. I'm surprised to see him in the team. Again, it kind of feels like just you weren't even on the bench, and yet now you just come straight in.
Yeah, so
I never usually agree with that happening.
Smith's rationale was that Douglas Luiz had played in Brazil, wasn't it? So he was a bit tired, whereas Nakamba had been training with the lads and that kind of thing. So
I did say to Steve, Connor and Luiz on the bench, maybe it's because they played an international duty, but then McGinn played a game as well. Only one game that McGinn played. He's got. See, we're blessed with options in central midfield, but I don't feel like that elsewhere. Yeah, and that is a problem.
On Douglas Luiz international duty, by the way, you talked about it last week. The pre-Olympic tournament. It's Olympic qualification. You have to qualify for the Olympics to get in for the football. So that's what it would be.
A sportsman.
That's what I do for my job. That kind of stuff.
What, qualify for the Olympics?
Yeah, very much so. Not done it yet.
What if you qualified?
That's where I was last week.
What if you had to do an Olympic event? What would you do?
I was talking about. What Olympic event I'd drop this week.
No, that's not what I've asked you.
No, that seems fair. What would I do? Oh, well,
your event be?
Judo, probably.
Judo.
Because I was quite good at judo back in the day, so I guess the best chance would have been that. But what would be the easiest thing
No,
to
I'm
do?
just saying, what would your event be?
If I could pick
like,
one.
it wouldn't be the 200 metres, like, for example. No, it wouldn't be for me either.
No. I guess judo. I'd take judo.
Judoka, you're a judoka.
Judoka. What about you then? What would you pick?
There's table tennis in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't win anything, but at least I've played table tennis. I think I'm semi-decent at table tennis. I like it, I enjoy it.
We should play some table tennis. I love table
Are
tennis.
you good though?
I'm okay.
I mean, I thought I'd beat you in an arm wrestling, and I got nowhere near you,
That's
so
true.
that would be a worry. Do they do arm wrestles in the Olympics?
They do wrestling, full wrestling.
We wouldn't be good at that, I don't
No.
think. Table tennis is the only one I can really think of that I'd like to have a go at. Obviously football. But I don't think you can say that as a...
Archery.
Badminton, is that in there?
Yeah, badminton's in there.
I'm semi-decent at badminton as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd have a go at badminton.
They're bringing breakdancing into 2024.
That's not for me.
No?
No, that's not. Breakdancing?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, what else are they bringing in? What, is that a sport?
BMX. Bringing in BMX.
Uh,
BMX is wicked.
Are they trying to get it? Oh, God, it's wicked.
I was at the World Ever Games this weekend, and I've never watched the whole full BMX. Welcome to the BMX podcast.
Are they trying to do make Olympics more relatable to the youngsters?
That's exactly what they're doing, yeah.
Is e-gaming going in, or have I imagined that?
They've talked about esports a lot. It will never go in.
No.
No. Not for many years. There's
Hey,
a
they
big
put breakdancing in.
but there's
You
a
can
lot,
never say never.
There's a lot of problems with esports in terms of like the violence, all this kind. It's lots of political problems.
There's lots of problems with the esports in terms of violence.
Well, you can't. The Olympic value. My God, the Olympic values are not to promote violence. So you get the violent esports games. So
A game of FIFA.
a game of FIFA is different, but you
Gran
don't
Turismo.
you don't have an international federation global body that monitors all esports. Therefore,
FIFA should be monitoring it, really.
Fi-
All esports.
Yeah. So you need some before you can get in. There's a huge pathway. It's really boring, but it's what I do.
Okay.
We can talk about it.
It's
off
really
air.
boring, is what I do.
Yes, Tom Julian in a nutshell. Is that my FIFA bio? Am I FIFA bio? My Twitter bio?
It'll be on your tombstone, mate.
Yeah, that seems fair. Grealish, after the game, he said, all the lads are devastated. It feels a bit like a loss in there, especially when they went down to 10 men. We had the better chances, but couldn't get one away. And when they were down to 10, we probably got worse. Gave away sloppy passes, myself included. We weren't deadly enough in front of goal and tried to force things.
But I didn't ever feel like the instructions were to try and force things. It felt like we were quite happy with to see how it went. It's a bit passive. And that's not what I associate Dean Smith with.
No.
But it felt a bit passive.
It always seems to me that we're a bit tired going into the end of games, which is worrying at this point in the season. I can accept it against Spurs, first game of the
of
season.
course.
But now we're five games or so in, we should be up to speed.
I tell you, he didn't look tired at the end. El Ghazi, he suddenly had a new lease of life in the last 5 minutes. He suddenly looked like he was an Olympic sprinter.
And he's been the one that's kind of pulled up with cramp a couple of times. I don't know, a frustrating game. Somebody said infuriatingly frustrating on the fan count.
That's how it felt.
It was, yeah, and especially when then you have to drive home and don't get home till 1:30.
Yeah, that's not ideal. That's not good at all.
8 of the 41 Premier League meetings between Aston Villa and West Ham have ended goalless. The highest proportion of any fixture in the Premier League that's been played more than 30 times.
You might know that we'd be up there for that kind of stat over the years.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good one.
So yeah,
I've probably been at a
frustrating.
fair few of them as well.
Frustrating game.
Not good. No, I didn't come away with many positive vibes last night, which I don't like. I can usually find a positive, and obviously the positive is it's a clean sheet.
Villa move out of the relegation zone only on goal difference. So it's Watford at the bottom, Wolves.
Shocked to see those European giants Wolverhampton Wanderers in 19th.
And Newcastle make up the bottom 3, and Villa are on the same points as Newcastle. But as I say, 4 points.
It's too early.
4 points separates us and Spurs in third. So it just would have been nice to win and just take us up a little bit. Every point. You say it's too early, but these games are really important. The ones at home and the ones against teams that are probably going to finish around 10th, 11th. And somebody again said on fan cams, there wasn't that much difference between West Ham and Villa. And I don't expect there to be too much difference at the end of the season. But, picking up 1 point instead of 3, that might prove to be quite big in the when it all shakes out.
Yeah, and we've got a run of these home games that you think they're the ones we need to win. So Burnley next at home, I'd look at that and think, good side Burnley, established. And this is the problem. Every team we're playing at home, as much as we think we should be beating them, and I do think that we should be taking 3 points out of at least one of the Bournemouth or Oh, God, I'm completely
Palace.
gone. No, not Palace. Who did we play last night? Gone. From my head.
Last night.
West Ham, sorry. I do think we should be taking 3 points. We need to take 3 points in at least one of those games, Bournemouth or West Ham.
Yeah.
You play Burnley, but they're an established side as well. They know what they're doing.
I'm much more worried about Burnley than I was against West Ham or Bournemouth, and we haven't done the business against either of those two. It's not a banana skin fixture because, as you say, we should respect Burnley. But again, like you say, you kind of look at it and go, we could get something of that. I don't know. We need a performance because last night we didn't get one.
This is the worry. I'd say 2 bad performances. Not bad. Is that harsh? Last night, 2 below average performances. Palace and last night. 2 games without scoring. Didn't really ever look like scoring in either of the games. I was like, okay, we did score in the one. It didn't count. But do you know what I mean? We look toothless.
Brett Leader says, "Happy birthday, Dan."
Thanks.
Why did we win games last season? Because we scored lots of goals. This season so far, 4 goals in 5 games. This is our problem. Villa need to find a free agent striker who might score some. We haven't got anyone to do it now.
It's all well and good saying that, though. But even paying money, goal scorers are hard to come by. They're not easy.
Who is still there? Is Sturridge still there?
On Turkey.
Has he?
Yeah. I think it was Turkey. Yeah, it was. I don't know whether Llorente's gone anywhere, but again, is he a goal scorer? Doesn't really fit in with what Smith wants to do.
I think it's deeply concerning if you're a free agent and you haven't been picked up yet. Yeah. That's an alarm bell in itself. I know that we need to try some guys out, but if you're then going to give them a contract that's worth, because they're not going to sign for anything less than big cash. Because they just won't bother playing.
There was 3, wasn't there? At one point, there was Llorente, Sturridge, and I completely forget who the third one was. That was
the old Arsenal guy who went to Watford.
Was it Welbeck?
Welbeck. He was definitely around.
You're getting desperate when you're looking at free agents and stuff.
At this stage, I think so. Nick Dowling, are you confident that performances like that against West Ham will keep us up? Personally, I saw an improvement in our attacking mindset, but we failed to finish our chances, which is slightly worrying.
What chances?
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree because I think I didn't see that attacking mindset.
No, man.
I am worried. Are you confident that performances like that against West Ham will keep us up? No. I think if we play like that for the rest of the season, then we should be a little bit concerned. I don't think that will stay like that. But if it does, then we've got some issues.
But you've got to say though, what will change? Because the personnel's not going to change too much. It's not like we've got loads of people injured or anything like that. I know because there's a lot of new players that they need to come together and get used to each other, and I do get that.
Yeah.
But I'd expect a little bit more than what I saw last night.
Yeah, I agree with you, but that's what I think. I think
it'll click.
It's more that I'm hoping, that it'll gel, that it'll click, and we'll start firing. Because there are glimpses, like the Jack run down the wing to get the ball in for Wesley.
We need more of that.
That's really nice, and we've seen that with Hotter in spells, and we've seen that with Trezeguet on his debut. He looked really sharp. McGinn is obviously a live wire. You get Douglas Luiz in regular, find a place for Conor Hourihane. We do have the players to make it work. It just needs to work.
I'm worried that all the alternatives seem to be in central midfield. I don't see the alternatives elsewhere to make changes and change games.
We shall see. Holly Jen 86. I miss Conor. Really think he allows Jack and John to be more effective. I always find it funny when people call these people by their first names.
We call Conor by his first name every single week.
I think I call him Hourihane.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I mean, you're saying his name wrong. That's not how you say his name.
Oh, yeah, but we never.
That's why I say
Hourihane or whatever it was. But I've chucked myself in.
Mate.
I don't know what that was. I really think he allows Jack and John to be more effective. And Jack and John are such normal names as well.
Okay, Tom.
Anyway,
slagging off normal names.
No, I wasn't slagging it off. It just sounds weird. Right, let me try this again. I miss Conor. Really think he allows Jack and John to be more effective, and I have to say our weakest positions are our wingers without a doubt. Then there is a lack of service to Wesley, who gets criticised. Back four look great and may be key to our survival. Happy birthday, Dan.
But then back four look, thank you. Back four look great, fine. And Neil Taylor is solid.
Yeah, I was going to say
very, very solid. But we miss something coming forward within the team.
That's
just the way I like Neil Taylor. I like him a lot. I think he is really, really solid, but Target's been bought to play there, hasn't he? And we haven't seen him yet. Maybe he'll be the one that makes a bit of a difference, but is a new left back going to make that much difference to what I'm seeing? He's got good delivery. That might help. he can take set plays as well if Connor's not in the team target.
I think we've seen in recent years that fullbacks have become one of the most important positions in the Premier League. So if Target can do that, go forward and get back, then it's like having another player. It's like it's making the most of what you've got. Yeah, exactly. Stretching the play. And if we'd had that,
you know what? That was one of the things from last night. Playing against 10 men, we didn't make the pitch big.
This is it.
Got to make the pitch big against 10 men. Give them something to think about. We just didn't.
Yeah. So, when do we see Target again? Well,
Arsenal, I think you said he'd be back four, but they won't play him on. They won't play him on Sunday against Arsenal. They won't risk changing that.
No.
Back four's kept a clean sheet at the end of the day, and primarily that and fundamentally that is their job.
Liam Flanagan, happy birthday, Dan. We need to keep faith in Dino and the squad.
I've not lost faith in Dino at all.
Defence is solid, midfield a bit 50-50, and front three needs the most work. I believe it will come together together. Early days yet, and these things take time.
You don't get time in the Premier League.
This is the issue we have, isn't it? That you want the players to gel and you want them to get better. And we've talked about the fact that even if we go down, Smith should stay and kind of he's the best man for the job still. And yet we want to stay up and get the points and be a Premier League team. It's a hard balance to find.
I bet Fulham were saying at this point last season, and I don't for 1 minute think we were doing a Fulham or anything like that, but I bet you they were saying at this point last season,
keep Jokanovic.
It'll come together. I believe it will come together.
They got rid of Jokanovic fairly early.
Yeah, but I bet they were saying it will come together. The players just need time to gel.
Yeah.
You can't afford... we're not cut adrift at the moment at all.
Yeah.
But you can end up within a few games being cut adrift if you don't pick up wins. 1 win in 5. If you carry on that ratio, it'll be a difficult season.
Villa Mad says, are we showing teams too much respect and approaching games too negatively? When you look just how well Norwich have used the same tactics as last season, wouldn't we be best suited to taking a few more risks? I'd say the one thing about Norwich is that they kept their squad completely together. They didn't lose as many players as Villa, so they had that kind of continuity. They have been bold and gone at teams, and I was texting my Norwich mate before the Man City game, and I was like, mate, if you guys do a job today, considering how many injuries you've got, the pints are on me.
Oh dear.
And the pints are very much on me, which is frustrating. I'm avoiding him now. But they do have that kind of continuity, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, also, it's important to have a bit of perspective in the way that Farker, this is his 3rd season with Norwich now. Smith hadn't even been here a year, and he's had to have a high turnover of players. So to implement what he perhaps wants will take time. Farker was in danger of losing his job this time last year.
Yeah.
And they all say now the Norwich fans love him or they adore him. They've always adored him. I'm not sure that's true.
Norwich were one of the favourites to go down, I think, last year.
They started badly, definitely,
in the
as well.
Championship.
They had a bad season the first season.
Yeah.
I mean, the bloke looks a genius now, don't get me wrong. The way they played on Saturday, I don't want to keep going on about him, but it was a joy to watch.
Yeah.
I really loved it.
Audrey Lynch, we need to discuss how to get Connor onto the pitch. Something has to change. And Matty Morrill, so many times last night I noticed we didn't leave a player up on the field on corners. This is where I got this
We
from.
never have with Smith
or
Bruce.
But that's weird, isn't it?
So again, this is another thing Steve was saying. He says if you clear the ball, it's coming straight back.
Coming straight back, yeah.
Because you've got no one there to pick it up.
Yeah.
But we're not the only team that do that. I'd love to know what the reasoning is, but there's a lot of teams that do that. Even when they went down to 10, we still did it. At that point, you're thinking, leave one up against 10. Leave El Ghazi up there. I could understand why you bring Wesley back. He's tall.
Yeah, it's huge.
Stick El Ghazi on halfway line. Give him something to think about.
Well, then he's not tracking back and Mings will shout at him.
Well.
That Metal Nessie, are people overreacting? Disappointing not to get the 3 points, and the forwards were poor. But defensively, we were excellent, and it is still early days. Patience is required. Plus, we did climb out of the bottom 3. West Ham are a very good side too.
Are they a very good side? They're a top 10 side.
I've heard a couple of people say, but I've heard loads of people say, these are a top 10, these are a top... Not everyone could be a top 10. No. I would say West Ham are very much the bottom of the top 10 if they're going to be in the top 10 at all.
Actually,
I'd say they're lower than that.
If you looked at it, I think they were from December onwards. I think they're 7th in terms of games points accumulated. Sorry,
from December
onwards in the Premier League.
Season starts in August.
They're 7th. They're only a few points off Spurs. I agree with you.
I know your point. Yes. I'm being facetious.
I know you are.
Not like me at all. Anything else to say on the game?
No, but Ben's tweet there, the Metal Nessie, he's saying about being realistic, isn't he? He's saying about perspective and things. Is that what he said?
He said patience.
Patience, sorry, and I get that. But it's okay. I've got patience. I've got that in abundance. It's okay to. Why are you having patience to question things that you've seen still?
I can't believe we hit 57 minutes.
I mean, mate, we rambled on for 5 minutes to Rollo before we even
Oh, that's
started.
true. Jonathan Codger fractured
You
his...
completely glossed over what I've just said.
I agree with you. We've done
You
patience.
can't remember what I said, can you?
You talked about patience. You've got loads of patience.
But I'm saying it's okay to have patience and still question things, which is what I was doing last night.
Oh, 100%.
Me personally.
Well, that kind of rounds it off nicely, doesn't it? Because that's what we said at the start. You can still support the team and be critical of what
I
happened.
felt like I was there last night saying everyone was rubbish and things like that. I wasn't
Like the guy in front of you.
I wasn't doing that. No, he was pretty quiet last night, to be fair. Pretty quiet. So I've got to say again, fans last night, really good. Really, really good.
One other question I didn't read was it sounded, they felt like it was, the atmosphere wasn't as good as had
started off very well.
previous. Yeah.
Declan Rice gave us a lot of compliments after the game, saying how good the atmosphere was, how good the Villa fans, some of the loudest he's ever heard.
Yeah. Lots of people say that, don't they, coming to Villa Park.
The atmosphere at the start of the game was electric again.
Do you think they should have England internationals back at Villa Park? Or
Everyone at Southampton the other day.
yeah, that was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, because it's not that far from Wembley, Southampton, really.
England internationals and FA Cup semis.
FA Cup semi should always be at Villa Park.
Yeah, it's nice.
That's where the
Isn't it?
magic happens.
Very much.
Although, I'd like to think we might be in an FA Cup semis and stuff, so they can't be played at Villa Park if we're there.
Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Jonathan Codger fractured his cheekbone in a clash with Nakamba, a non-physical or like a non-ball incident. Like they just ran into each other.
They go head to head.
Yeah. That's not ideal. I mean, Jonathan Codger hasn't really seen much game time, but it's nice to have an option, isn't it?
Do you think it's poor PR that they announce who caused the injury? Do they need to say it was marvellous? I remember when Gleibor Kozak broke his leg and they said he was in a challenge with Kieran Clark at the time, and Kieran Clark got pelters on social media.
Really?
Like, why did the club need to say who it was that injured him? Say he got injured in training?
Yeah, that's true. They don't need to
Did they
say
not say he was marvellous?
It doesn't reflect my any opinion. I guess they just ran into each other. It doesn't really reflect that badly on Nakamba, whereas breaking somebody's leg is pretty bad. I wouldn't announce that.
No, but that was what he did.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
Kieran
yeah.
Clark did.
Yeah, yeah, I
And he was
know.
getting pelters at the time anyway, and they were like, "Oh, typical clumsy Clark," all over Twitter.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
I find that strange that they revealed who the incident was with.
So they reckon Codger's going to be out for 2 to 3 weeks. It's a blow, isn't it? It's just another man down.
It's options, isn't it?
And he's another option for wide as well.
Yeah, and believe me, I'm not Codger's biggest fan. I'm not sure about him in the Premier League, to be honest, but I was finding myself thinking last night, God, I wish Codger was on the bench.
Yeah.
It's just something different. He might just pluck you a goal out of nowhere.
Yeah. Frustrating.
I worry about his tracking back.
Tell you what is frustrating. The EFL have announced that Birmingham City have been fined £42,500 for the Paul Mitchell attack on Jack Grealish in March last year. You'll obviously remember that Grealish was attacked by a fan. What a knob he was. They've waited.
That's not a swear word.
Exactly. They've waited this long. We're now in September, so what's that? 6 months.
Yeah. Good math.
And 40 grand. What a ridiculous punishment.
I mean, it is the
that
act of one guy in some respects, but what's taken them 6 months to come up with that?
What is a fitting? I would say playing a game behind closed doors is a fitting punishment.
Yeah.
And more of a cause not to do it to all the fans than fining the club 40 grand. Obviously, Mitchell went to prison, which again, fine, deserved, absolutely. Ban the fans for a game.
But then you're in the realms of punishing other people for one person's mindless act. But if there
I mean,
is
he was treated like a hero from again a small minority of fans. Yeah.
That's the thing. People of that mentality now. Does it really discourage them from doing it again?
How is fining the club? And again, I know he went to prison, but how is fining the club? I guess they failed to control him.
I'm that steward as well, wasn't there? A steward that needed Grealish.
Kicked a couple of people, yeah.
I know he lost his job, I think, but
again,
does that not form part of the same kind of thing on that day?
Yeah, I would say so. Failing to control. But I'm sure failing to control your players and failing to control your fans and whatever usually gets a bigger punishment than
how
that.
much did we got fined for failing to control our players in that game?
Don't know.
I can't remember how much it was.
It just seems a bit weak, and it's like they've buried it. They've waited this long because I think at the time they were talking about potential points
deduction
and all this kind of stuff, and it's just another damp squib of a punishment. And again, there's no consistency with the EFL. The EFL has not covered itself in glory at the start of this season.
Anymore.
But with Bolton, with Bury, these clubs that they've really failed on, and this is just another lukewarm punishment, another failing of the EFL. And I don't know what you do, and I don't know how you consistently do punishments, but they need to look at themselves because it's a joke.
That did seem light, I will say.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
What I will say is now we're in the Premier League and they're in the Championship. I'm not as bothered about it.
Yeah. I guess, I mean, I think it was Villa Mad who tweeted, like, he could have had a knife.
Yeah, that is...
You know, it's a fundamentally...
There is that. I'd be interested to know what Jack thought about it and the family.
I imagine he would have gone, that's a joke. And
he's laughed, to be fair. He laughed at the whole thing anyway.
What else can he do at this stage? Villa have launched their third kit today. They say it's a throwback to 1993. I'm not sure it's much of a throwback, to be honest. It's green.
I think they look a bit like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This log pattern.
So I don't think it's a throwback. I don't mind it.
I don't mind it.
I think it's probably my favourite of this year's crop.
I think I like the away the best, to be honest.
I don't love any of them, to be honest. But if I'm going to buy one,
Lou Roper, man, aren't you? Like, we all like Lou Roper.
Absolutely. If I'm going to buy one, it'll be the green one. But you don't know when. Like, they've launched it, and you can't.
And the thing is, you don't need to save the club this year.
Yeah, that's true.
It's difficult. There's no need for the Tom Julian millions to come in.
Edens and Suarez have done it this year, so I can take a year off. But they've launched it, but they don't tell you when. You basically had to take a survey, but then you still couldn't.
You can register an interest, was what I saw.
You could, but they forgot to put the link in the press release. And then, yeah, you register your interest to find out when it might go on pre-order. It's just, it just feels long and arduous. A bit annoying.
What I liked about the kit launch was that, like, they got the old players involved, which is good for fun and games to see the old players in the shirt. But they're very tight fitting. Tony Daly, oh my God, that man is a Adonis.
Yeah,
I've spent time with Tony. In the flesh, he's an absolute beast.
Does he own a gym, or he's done
he's got
gym coaching?
Like
and stuff,
he's really a fitness coach at Wolves. Yeah. He's absolutely tonked.
Yeah,
Tony Daly looks $1 million in the capper. You can almost. I mean, to be fair, Towers I'm only going to slag Towers off because he's the one that I know. But he's in decent shape, Towers, but you can see he looks a little bit coy next to Tony Daly, doesn't he? He looks a little bit coy.
I quite like that because you can actually see what people in the stands might look like in the kit, and so I kind of respect that. But
thanks for wishing me happy birthday, by the way, Towers.
Oh, shots fired.
Disappointing.
So that's it on the kit launch. We don't know when they're going to use it against Manchester City away, so presumably we'll be able to
October.
Buy it before then.
Well, I wouldn't bet on it, mate.
So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that because who knows what's going to happen. So that is that. You had an Alan Wright story?
Let's not really an Alan Wright story. It fits in a bit with Villa being unorganised about things. Really, I was at the Spa earlier. I took Rob Bishop's book with me.
Oh yeah,
Euros and Villains. So I was looking at the European games that I've been at a time I remember. And Villa had played Helsingborg in 96-97. I think it was Helsingborg. Yeah, it was 96-97. So 1-1 in the first leg at Villa Park against part-timers. So they've got an away goal. It's 0-0 in the second leg, and Villa bring on Tommy Johnson in the 86th minute, and it's like he said in the book, the Villa players were surprised to learn when Tommy Johnson came on that the away goals rule counted after 90 minutes. They thought it was after extra time. Suddenly there was some urgency with 5 minutes left. Like, we played 85 minutes of a game and just thought, 0-0's okay. We've still got extra time. Like, we didn't realise that we needed to score until Tommy Johnson came on in the 86th minute.
That's class.
I might question Brian on that next time I see him, because he was the manager at the time, Brian Little. Because that's
what was an Alan Wright story?
Well, he was apparently the one that got the message got delivered.
Right, okay.
I was just using shorthand. Shorthand. He's quite small as well, wasn't he?
Very good.
We have got some sad news to discuss.
Yes. So the final bit is many of you will have seen on Twitter. Chris Dolan has decided to hang up his microphone. Is that right?
So.
So he's going to stop doing the Villa View. We wish Chris all the best. And
it's not like we're not friends anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't seen him in a few weeks. So.
And I just wanted to take this opportunity and say thanks, Dolan, for everything you've done. And we've had some amazing times. And long may then continue through the Villa.
I mean, I'm going to persuade him to come back at some point, I reckon. I can go on the charm offensive.
Yeah.
And get him back. At the end of the day, I don't want him to leave, you don't want him to leave, Roller doesn't want him to leave, but at the moment he's just doing what's best for his life.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we respect that, and we wish him all the best.
Absolutely, and when or if or when it's right time to come back, then there's always a chair open.
Yeah. Well, I mean, can you imagine him sitting there wearing what I'm wearing tonight?
Oh, So
No
it's disgraceful.
chance. No, he'd be appalled by this if he was doing the podcast.
I'm
wouldn't he?
appalled.
Yeah, and that's saying something.
Yeah.
He's saying something.
So there you go. So yeah, thanks.
But we love you, Dolan.
Thanks, Dolan. And yeah, hopefully we'll get you back on soon. But when the time is right, absolutely.
Happy birthday to Kieran Smith as well, his best pal. Been on fan cams a few times. His birthday today as well. Luckily older than me, which made me feel a little bit better this morning.
You're making me feel a bit queasy with your swinging around.
Sorry.
I don't know if the guys watching at home are just like.
I think I've been doing it all the way through the podcast. To be honest.
I would have told you off way before.
Okay, fair enough.
So don't worry about that. There are fan cams from the game last night, so make sure you check those out. You looked a bit cold.
I was cold and I was just a bit frustrated.
Yeah, fed up.
I wasn't feeling too chipper last night after the game, straight off the bat.
Well,
as the people that were queuing will attest.
There's a sell. So make sure you.
Well, it's not about me. The fan cams it's about the people coming on and having their say.
It's very true. So make sure you check those out as well. What's going on? Arsenal away, so there'll be. I guess the next one will be the podcast, will it? A preview.
I should be at Arsenal on Sunday, but there won't be any videos.
Yeah.
No, I like to have a drink on the away days.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So there'll be a preview though.
Big preview. Me and
Jazz
will jump in on Thursday.
Thank you to Jazz as well for stepping in on the podcast while I was on international duty.
Yeah.
Good to have her involved as well. So
she got me some scratch cards for my birthday.
Did she?
And I didn't win a penny off it.
My family.
Imagine
did
if I'd have won 250 grand on this scratch card.
My family give you a scratch card in your birthday.
I'd have given her a £4 back or whatever the scratch card cost. But
I'm magnanimous of you. My mum said happy birthday, by the way.
Did she?
Yeah.
She didn't text me.
No, she didn't.
No,
Did she have your number?
No, that's why she didn't text me.
That seems fair. Okay, right, let's call this a day because it's late and I'm almost in trouble. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment on this video. What did you think of Wesley? Do you think that Villa can put this together? We'd love to know your comments, so please get them to us. You going to say something?
Nah, nothing.
Good. All right. Well, have a good week. Let's get a result against Arsenal. Up the Villa.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.